Hello and welcome to Three Questions With. Come here, buddy Paul, with us from Balanced Revenue Services. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Just living the dream, my friend. So, Paul, let's jump in. Tell us what you do, my friend.
Yeah, so my company, Balanced Revenue Service, is called a fractional CRO service. So small and mid-sized businesses can get the benefit of someone like me who has a lot of experience in a variety of revenue roles to come in and help them improve scale, improve efficiencies of their marketing, sales, and customer success team. So it could be a startup, could be an existing business that's launching a new product, or it could be a company that just their revenue growth is stalled and they need a different opinion on how to drive growth and profit and margin. So that's basically what I do.
This makes sense to me. I like what you said about the new product idea, because sometimes company does come up with a new product. They're like, but how do we market it? And
Sure.
unless you have that skill set, you might not really know what to do. So it makes sense to me to reach out to someone like you saying, Paul, we know we have a winning product. We just don't know how to tell the world. You can help them with that?
Yeah. I could definitely help them with that. And think of me as sort of a part-time executive that can come in and work on the business, while typical small business owners are working 5, 6, 7 days a week in the business. So come in, look at the business, talk to key stakeholders, talk to some customers, figure out how to improve the go-to-market strategy and efficiency of the teams. And there's always a lot of cost-effective approaches to doing that.
I really like that, Paul, because sometimes you just need that outsider to come in. Because, like I said, you're just so close to it. Like, but Paul, that, especially that product, that's my baby. I just don't see it the way I really should, because it was the first idea I had or whatever it may be. So it makes sense to bring you in and say, well, but we could expand on this product. When I talk to your customers, they're looking for some additional service that we could offer them. That's where you come in, right?
It absolutely is. And the other thing that's often overlooked is, if you use a sales pipeline and you have kind of a closed loss percentage, a lot of times the people that are not choosing your business are overlooked. They often can give insights into what's wrong with your sort of customer journey or customer process. Hey, I didn't choose this company because it took 7 days to get the quote, or I didn't choose you guys because your pricing was 35% higher and the salesperson didn't really structure the quote based on what we wanted. So a lot of times it may be just small tweaks in the process that can yield pretty big results.
But fractional roles seem to be the way to go for most companies, because we're looking at it saying, we know we need to grow, but then you go out and you try to hire that VP of sales or whatever, and you're like, how much is that going to cost? It's too big of a cost for the company at that point in time. So that's where you come in. You can give me that same skill set as on a fractional basis to help me reach my goals, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So the world of fractionals really sort of started 10 to 15 years ago with CFOs coming in and helping organize financial software and financial models and structure that. And it's starting to expand into other areas, CMOs, CROs, obviously, even part-time CEOs, companies that are going through a transition or need to be a little bit of a turnaround. And yes, the typical fractional executive works with a business anywhere from 3 to, believe it or not, 36 months. There's some long-term engagements where there's someone there on a part-time basis. And you're exactly right. If you want to start a search for a CRO, it could take you 4, 5, 6 months. There's sort of a risk of committing. What if that person doesn't ultimately fit the culture of the business? And a fractional executive is a lower risk, quicker way to get the benefit of a CRO.
I like it for both sides. I like it for your side because you get to be involved in a lot of really cool projects, to be honest. So I see why it attracts you. But also, I like what you said, because you have all this cool experience, I get to bring you in and take advantage of that, saying, hey, you worked in my industry, but you also worked in other industries you may be able to apply this to. So it seems winning for both sides, right?
Yeah, and one of the things that makes me maybe a little bit unique is I own my own business for 7 years. I had a startup, so I kind of know that running a business and owning a small business, it's an all-in proposition, right? It's not easy. But I've also worked for companies that were owned by private equity, and I've worked for big companies. I've launched business membership programs, and I've had a lot of different revenue roles. strategy, sales leader, rev ops. I started as an inside sales guy way back when. So yeah, it just, to me, it's always fun to figure out how to grow revenue and margin, and there's a lot of levers to pull. And like I said, a lot of them are cost effective. You know,
Awesome.
it's not, I'm not going to come in and say, okay, you got to triple your sales team, right? Well, holy cow, how much is that going to cost?
Yeah.
But it's sort of through analysis and discovery, figure out, hey, what's the low hanging fruit? What are the priorities? And then how do we scale from there?
Makes perfect sense. So, Paul, how do people reach out to you? How can they learn more, my friend?
Yeah, the best way to do it is just go to my website, which is Balance Revenue Services, or message me on LinkedIn, and we can set up a quick 15 or 20-minute conversation and see if there's a fit.
Awesome, Paul. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Sounds good, Kevin. Thank you.